Hi, you entrepreneurs. Today we have David Stein. He is a lender, originator, however you want to call it. He's going to be the one helping you out with financing. He has a sales background. He was in college and the sales department helping with stocks, selling people on stocks. And then he got into the originating field, fell into it, but now he loves it. Hear his story, hear how he had a short sales on properties, but work his way to helping his clients and getting raving fans. Please share, please subscribe.
Welcome to the road to growth, success of an entrepreneur.
We've raised the bar.
Learn firsthand from successful business owners and create your own path to success.
I'm going to show you how great I am.
It's time to hit the road to growth with real estate agent Vinny SD.
All right, we're here with David Stein. David, thanks for coming down. How you doing?
Thanks for inviting me.
So, David, you are a lender, originator. So tell me a little about yourself. What got you into the field?
So I've been doing it since 2001, and I got into it just on accident. Okay. And I found a few buddies of mine that were doing it, and they said, "You want to come do loans?" And I didn't even know what a loan was.
Oh, wow. What were you doing before?
I actually was a stock salesman.
Okay.
But I didn't have a license, so what we would do is we would just get pre-call for the brokers.
Yeah.
And get them started up. So I was always in sales to that point, and then I got into doing mortgages here in San Diego.
So as a stock salesman, how long were you doing that before?
Well, I wasn't actually a stock salesman, so what we would do is just call people up and get them warmed up to talk to a broker.
Okay.
And we did that for probably 5 years while I was working through college.
So Wolf of Wall Street? Similarities?
It was not a boiler room, but again, people might think it was a boiler room, but I've seen a lot worse. And what we would do is just get people warmed up and get them hot and heavy, and then pass them off to the broker, and then they would sell them whatever products they're selling.
So, did you enjoy getting on the phone and dealing with, I guess, cold leads? Because most of these probably were cold leads, right?
Yeah, pretty much everything was cold, and that's why I kind of like getting into when I got into the mortgages, everything went from being cold to being warm, or at least lukewarm.
For the people out there, cold lead is someone that has not expressed an interest. You're just reaching out to them. For the warm leads, it's someone that might have expressed some sort of interest. Even, would you consider like an online lead someone that requested information as a warm lead, or that's still fairly cold? What do you think?
I consider that pretty cold because, they're going to ask, and then, probably 3 or 4 people are going to approach them on the internet lead and say, "Hey, I can offer you X, Y, Z." And so right there, you're in pretty stiff competition with others. And I don't really buy leads or do that because I don't like to fight amongst 5 or 6 people to give them the best rate when there's way better ideas and lead generation strategies than just buying Zillow leads.
Yeah. So majority of your clients that you work with now are somewhat warm leads, right? People that have expressed interest, that have directly reached out to you, correct?
Yeah, correct. So basically I work 100% off referral.
Okay.
So I don't really do leads or buy leads. I create my own leads. So when I say by referral, whether it's someone referred the client to me or it was, referral from one of my clients.
Yeah.
So I kind of consider them the same. And a referral is a warm lead.
Yeah, exactly.
They know you, they love you, they trust you, or someone did along that path.
Yeah. So do you miss the cold calling?
Not really, because I was pretty good at it, but that's what translated into doing loans, I think, a lot better because I'm able to take the no's from clients. When they say no, I say, well, okay, good. I probably don't have to call you back.
Yeah, it's definitely a interesting game. I think people get scared of the cold avenue. And so having that warm lead, that warm foundation is pretty strong, and it makes life a little easier because you can focus on the task at hand, right?
I agree. I think what most people don't realize, and you can use this in basically any occupation, whether it be loans or, say, real estate, which you're in, or, say, car sales. You got to reach out to your old past clients, and you got to nurture them where you send them something once a month of real value, so they know you're there, and you keep giving to them, and they'll think about you, and they will send you referrals. And that's the cornerstone of my business, and it's taken many, many years to get to this spot. It's not overnight. You can build your clients to be looking to send you deals.
Well, I think a lot of people, at least in the real estate industry, I'm assuming is the same in the lending industry, are afraid of asking referrals. And sometimes the client is not even aware that you want referrals given their direction. So you're very good at asking anyone you talk to, asking, hey, who do you know? Or once I help you here, who would you know? And so on and so forth. Because reality is we're, as real estate agents or lending professions, we're looking for that warm lead, that referral lead. And for them, they're focusing on the task at hand. So it's not their job to do it, but you still want them to, hey, if you had a good experience, please tell your friends.
It's really funny you should mention that. On TV, they have a commercial where the guy says he's sitting with his neighbor drinking a beer, watching a football game, and he goes, hey, do you know any good contractors? And his buddy goes, oh, yeah, I do. And then before he can answer, the other guy who originally asked the question says, well, I want you to get me 3 bids, set them up for next week on Wednesday, and I want it all set up. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And that just, it doesn't work like that. You really got to go out and create value.
Yeah.
And when you create that value, they will bring you the clients where you don't have to go out and call those cold calls anymore.
Well, the one thing that I've really lived on, I know that's something that I think you focus on too, is when you do someone right, they'll usually tell maybe 1 to 2 people about you. When you do someone wrong, they'll probably tell 5 to 10 people about you. And so it's every person you deal with, you got to make sure that they're a raving fan. They're going to be telling that next person about you, right?
I agree. I think it's really, you got to focus on the customer. And we always say we roll out the red carpet for everyone. And that's what we do. We just make sure that everything they need is being answered. I do a thing where I give my clients my cell phone and just say, text me anytime.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding, just anytime. Because the wife knows that, these are just business calls. And the wife knows that people have questions. And so those late calls, they actually pay off in spades, way more than I'd say taking a customer's call during the day or taking a text message. So I like to make myself available always, and just that customer service. And
what's the unknown? The idea of the unknown. I think that's what people get scared about, is if they can text you and say, hey, David, can you give me a call when you get a second? And you say, all right, yeah, don't worry, I'll give you a call. And knowing this is what's going to happen next gives some peace of mind. Yet when you don't have someone to talk to, now you're saying, okay, where are we at? What's going on? Where do I need to send the money? You start freaking out. And you start getting bigger and bigger. So I think that idea of just being available is huge. So did you always think you wanted to get into the lending business? I know you were in the sales before, and now you're getting into lending sales. But in college or before that, what were you looking to do?
Really, I didn't have any direction. Right when I got into college, I got the stock sales, junior sales job from a friend of mine that he was doing the same job, and he got me a job. So it was natural. I went over there, and I did pretty well through college, just working part-time. Yeah. And then I ended up just falling into this job. So really didn't have any clue. But when I found loans, I definitely fell in love with loans, because you can actually help people by saving them money or building them equity, or and when you treat them right, as they will send you their friends and family.
Yeah, no, I can definitely agree with that. So you kind of fell into it because out of necessity, right? So you're saying that your friends were looking for loans, and you're like, how hard can this be?
Exactly. A lot of things that what people do, they fall into. But when I fell into this, I really fell into love. So that's why I'm in love with mortgages. Unfortunately, most people don't really find what they like to do and love to do or like to do in life, and they end up working. Whereas I love mortgages, so I don't really work each day. Yeah, I feel like I'm actually just existing, where I'm not really working, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Out of curiosity, how long have you been in the lending industry? No.
Since 2001, right after 9/11.
Yeah,
we got fired right after 9/11 happened. Yeah. The next day, the stock market shut down, and then the very next day, we got all pink slips.
Yeah,
and it was kind of an eye opener, and how the market can change overnight. But again, I think things happen for a reason. I think I'm kind of glad that it was, things shifted this way and it ended up this way. And so I'm glad I'm not in stocks, I should say.
Well, so you've been in the sales industry now since college, in essence. Okay. Mm-hmm. What are some of the tidbits that you've picked up, you've learned? If you could look at your younger self or look at a younger loan officer or salesperson, what would you kind of give them advice?
I mean, I would say just don't give up. You got to learn what your product is. And I always look how to reverse engineer my product or reverse engineer what are people looking for.
Yeah.
And I give them what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So if they're looking to reduce, reduce their mortgage, reduce their payments, etc., I would say the best thing for a young salesman is product knowledge, because if you have product knowledge, you're able to sell about 10 times better than your peers are.
Yeah.
And as you know, with real estate and mortgages, there's 20,000, 30,000 in each industry.
Yeah.
You have to use something to separate you from everybody else.
And that knowledge base is your big go-to.
I would say I study all the new programs. They come out, they're about 35, 38 pages each, and you really got to look through and know the products and know what you're selling and know how to help the customer and how to help the real estate agents close more deals, because in turn they will send you more clients.
Well, no, I think that's definitely one nice thing about you, that for any person you'll usually find some way of getting it done, even if it doesn't look obvious from outside looking in. So I think you're very, figure out how to do that. I think your personality type is like that too. Let's figure out how to do that and let's just go for it.
I agree. Give you an example. We were doing a loan for a guy. He's VA and he's engaged, but he's not married to a girl. So therefore, you normally couldn't do a VA loan, but we still did a VA loan. They ended up just putting a down payment to cover the 25% guarantee that is a VA loan. So they got to take advantage of no mortgage insurance. They got to take advantage of the lower interest rates. And so no one had told them. They had talked to about 3 or 4 brokers before they came to me. And I said, let's do a VA loan. And they were kind of blown away. And, well, we can't do a VA loan because she's not in the VA. I said, well, you were, and she's your fiance. We just need to put a little bit of a down payment down. And that took care of the solution to that case. And those are my clients for life now.
Yeah, no, definitely. When you can do something that other people couldn't do, they're going to want to tell their friends about you. Now, everything I know hasn't been golden, gravy, however you want to define it. So walk us through, the people that are listening to, what's some of the hiccups? What's some of the times that you fell and kind of picked yourself up and took it to the next level?
Yeah, I agree. That's very important to know that I didn't just get to this point, and it took a lot of getting beat down and getting back up. I think the most important getting up point in my life was after 2008, when the market really hit the skids, and I had a lot of property in town, and I ended up having to short sell pretty much all or most of it to recover from my neighbors short selling and their neighbors short selling and foreclosure after foreclosure. So again, when I always say that if you don't get back up, I mean, you're done. And that's not the way to.
How long did it take you to figure out it was the time to short sell? Like, 'cause I'm assuming you're a go-getter. You're kind of fighting through stuff. I'm assuming there was some time that you're like, we can make this work. We can make this work. And then finally, when did you decide, okay, I got to short sell so we can start new?
Well, basically, you're right. It was one event that triggered it all. It was just I had a leak, pipe that burst in one of my rentals, and that turned it down. It was the $20,000 or $30,000 problem, and that's what started the end of it. And basically, one short sell led to the next, and it was a chain reaction.
What did you think at that time? I want to get out of the lending business. Like, I'm short selling my own properties. Why am I still in this business? Did you ever?
Yes, actually, I wanted out pretty much at that point, and it was very slow, and a lot of stuff was happening in the market, so it was tough. But I just, I knew to myself, what am I going to do? Am I going to start another career where I have to have another learning curve? And I didn't want to do that, so I really just readapted myself, and we went from all the the stated or the ninja loans, which are the no income, no job loans, which were sold prior to that day. And then you had to go to full doc loans. So we basically just partnered up with people that had like minds that we did. And we created basically a whole nother, system to doing loans. And that we threw out everything we were doing 2 days prior, and we just started a whole nother way of doing business.
Yeah.
So we just really adapted, I would say.
So you adapted to so you, in essence, started fresh. I'm not going to be cheesy, but like a phoenix rising from the ashes.
Correct.
What have there been any other hiccups or anything that? Because again, like an individual like yourself, and for myself too, where we're going to do it, ask for forgiveness later, right? Was there any other times where you've kind of went in one direction, you're like, this is not going to work, or what happened?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you got to also really realize who you're going into business with. I went into business with some guys that didn't have the same goals that I did.
Yeah.
And so we ended up selling that company to a larger company. And it kind of set me back a year or two, rather than go down that current path of which I didn't like, kind of the way it was going down. So
yeah.
I'm actually kind of glad that happened, even though it did set me back. So I've had several setbacks, but again, every time you have a setback, you just got to keep moving forward. And again, building those new relationships, keeping up with your current clients, I think is the most important thing.
So what keeps you pushing forward, going forward? What's that one thing that because you fell a couple times where you maybe had to sell your company or the short sales. What keeps that drive to keep pushing forward to get to where you're going and where you are and where you're going?
I would just say my daughter and my wife, and then also my loan partner, Susan. I call them my girls, and I can't let them down. So I've got a lot riding on my shoulders every day, whereas I don't really need the motivation to keep getting up. Unfortunately, I have that motivation every day.
Just seeing them?
Just waking up, every day, and I just know that I got a TCB.
Yeah.
And as you know, that means take care of business.
So what's next for you guys? What's going to be that next step for David? What's in the horizon?
Right now, we're working on several projects. Where basically we're working. First of all, we're working on the Homes for Heroes project. We're trying to get signed up with them, and so we can help veterans buy houses for basically no money down, no closing costs, no money out of pocket.
Wow.
That's really my passion is veterans and active duty. Since I've been doing that since about 2001, it's really my ultimate passion. I work with another group called the Wave Academy, and they work with PTSD veterans and just trying to help them out through aqua therapy. And so that's kind of my two things. I really just love to help veterans when I can. And you're not a veteran, are you? No, I'm not a veteran.
Okay.
Actually, just a bunch of my family is in the Navy.
Okay.
So just love helping out whenever I can. Plus, we're in San Diego, and it's my charity of choice.
Yeah. So this is not a sales pitch. The idea, okay, no money down the VA. Now, no closing costs. I know there's minimal for non-allowables, that kind of stuff. So you're talking about not a single dime out of pocket for that program?
Correct. So a lot of times, and there's misconceptions when you say zero down. People think, oh, I don't have any closing costs either. Well, it's zero down, but there is closing costs.
Exactly.
You have taxes, insurance, prepaid for 6 months, 12 months. You have escrow, title, lender fee, and all kinds of other fees, which on a $500,000 loan, maybe it adds up to $7,000 to $10,000.
Yeah.
So what we do is we work with the realtor. We work with our commission. We usually cut our commission in half or more and use that to cover the client's closing costs.
Yeah.
So he can move into this house by literally signing on the dotted line.
Wow. And what do you see? Because I know the guidelines are freeing up, even for yourself. You're talking about cutting down the closing costs for the VA aspect, but there's a lot of other guidelines where it's 2 bank statements or 1 bank statement, you can purchase a home. Where do you see the market going in the near future with lending and the guidelines? Are we going to get back to the ninja loans? I've heard talk about it, but are we going to get back to that point? What do you think?
Well, it's great that you should mention that. So at first we went to bank statement loans when the rates went up and the banks got a little slow. They decided they were going to create bank statement loans for self-employed, and they started at 24 months. Then they went to 12, 6 months. Then they went to 3, and now they're actually down to 1 month's bank statements. But you got to put down money.
Yeah.
So the one thing that they've changed from the Ninja loan of the past to now it's just back to a stated loan. You have to put a good chunk down payment. And with that good chunk down payment, you don't need any income. So there are stated loans now. So they are back, but you have to have a good down payment, and so the bank has that liquidity.
What's a good down payment? You're talking 30%?
30 to 35%.
Okay. Well, so...
And sometimes, depending on your credit, you could get away with 25%.
So, David, I appreciate all the time you've given us. hopefully all the listeners out there have got some good tidbits. Again, if you might not know where you want to be tomorrow, I know for myself, I don't want to be in real estate, just like David. The thing is you can fall into it and you still fall in love, and gain that knowledge base and just push forward. So again, David, I appreciate all the time you've given to all myself and the listeners out there. If someone could reach out to you, or if they had questions, or maybe a new loan offer, a new salesperson wanted to reach out to you, maybe someone that wanted to use you in the lending field, how would they reach you?
Just give me a call, 858-337-9744, or you can check me out at principalequitygroup.com. That's principal with an AL, and that's pretty much the easiest way to get a hold of me.
All right, perfect. Well, fight through. Hopefully all you entrepreneurs, again, please please share, and please tell your friends. Thanks, David.
Thank you for listening to The Road to Growth, Success of an Entrepreneur. Please like, subscribe, and stay connected. Visit www.vinnySD.com.
Yeah, I created a website.
Hope to see you again next week. Team Vinny SD, signing off.